Alright. We're back. It's me, Al, here at Al's Drum School. It's been quite a while since I've found time or made time to do a podcast episode, so I thought I'd do a little mini episode and have a check-in with you all and let you know about all the goings on with drums and Al's Drum School and all that fun stuff. So we're going to cover some updates from the drum school. There's been some big changes since we last done a episode on this podcast, so there's lots to fill you in on. And also, I played a gig. Ta-da! I played a gig last week, first time in nearly a year. So I'm going to describe what that was like and my reasons for going and doing it and all that fun stuff and how it felt. And yeah, it was good fun. So let's get into it. All right. So welcome back. It's been so long, as I just said in the intro, but we're here and I'm going to let you know about what's been going on here at Al's. What changes have we made? We've made some changes at the beginning of this year in terms of the structure of the business, and all that stuff is really starting to come into fruition now and starting to work, basically. There was some, if I'm frank and I'm honest, there was some financial stuff that we had to address. We weren't making money and we need to be making money. So we made some changes with that, and that seems to be working. We also acquired, we basically sort of acquired someone else's business. There was a friend of mine who I taught for many years, decided that he didn't want to continue with his business anymore and was super kind and entrusted me with sort of taking it over from him. And that was, what was included in that was peripatetic teaching in schools. We had 4 schools that were under his sort of his within his business, and we took them over, and we've put a teacher in place, and it's been quite a journey. I guess it was a merger in a way, technically quite a small one, but we had to sort of deal with all the admin of taking over all those students. I think there was 50 plus students, around 55 or something like that. So a lot of email addresses, a lot of subscriptions to switch over, a lot of contact, a lot of like introducing us to these new people, to these new customers. And that was really quite a challenge. It really was. And hats off to my wife and Jordan for really digging in deep, and we managed to have a successful transition of that period of time. And it was really a big learning curve. It really was. There was a lot of things that were unexpected that we had to deal with. But I feel that it was a great experience. And of course, in terms of the business, it's made a big difference, and we're super grateful for that. So Tom, if you're listening, thank you very much. And some of the points that sort of came up for me with it were still sort of being in this role of owner rather than operator, and being sort of more of a removed from the actual teaching and the daily runnings of the business, and more sort of putting the building blocks in place to make sure that everything's working properly and doing what we need it to do. And that's definitely been an interesting journey that I've talked about a little bit on this podcast over the last year. That transition for me from being in there every day to sort of running it from a laptop. Lots of amazing insights have come from this journey in terms of business and my business and our business and what it looks like. And this transition from our small studio in Brighton to now being in 4 schools in Hampshire, we've sort of just increased our student body by quite a lot, and it's been really testing, but great nonetheless. A really good experience, and a shout out to Riley, our new teacher, who is doing the teaching, doing the thing over there in Hampshire every week, and he's doing a great job. And again, more learning for me with sort of managing another sort of member of staff, if you will, and making sure that he's happy and he's got everything he needs. And that's been some learning with that for sure. There's been lots of learning. I can definitely say though that it's, if you're thinking about trying to approach schools to do that type of thing, it's definitely worth it. It's difficult. It's difficult to get in, and this isn't an ordinary situation by any means, because we were essentially gifted these 4 schools. But It is something we've been aiming at for a while, and we have worked with some over the last couple of years since ours has been open. But this is definitely a sort of plug and play situation, which has been really good. Having that many students as well has brought up lots of realizations within how we teach and what we teach and the sort of message from ours. We now have a much vaster customer base and student base, so I've had to, and we've had to as a team figure out how we communicate with those people and the sort of message that we want to put across to them, and trying to instill that in the students has been challenging too. But really well received. All the mums and dads have been great through the transition, and everyone seems to be enjoying themselves and learning drums, more importantly, and kicking butt behind the drum kit, which is really what we want. So that makes me feel happy. That makes me feel proud too, as the owner of this business, and sort of leading the way, I guess. Maybe that's a bit stronger way of putting it, but yeah, really good fun. The studio is busy. The studio is getting super busy, which is great as well. We're definitely starting to fill up that calendar down in Brighton, which is great if you are in the local area and you want to come and hang out. And if you're not, if you're on Zoom, we can teach you over Zoom too. We are definitely still live and kicking in Brighton, and it's going really well. And actually, some more on a sort of personal side, me, my wife, and my daughter, we're moving back down to Brighton. We've been living up in London for the last year, or nearly 18 months, but we've got a house. We're moving back down. We're going to be literally 5 minutes around the corner from the studio, so definitely going to be at the studio more. You will see my face about students that are there that are listening to this. I will be about more. Finally, we're coming back, and I'm really excited about that. It feels really good, especially this time of year, summer. We're getting back to the beach. Getting back to Brighton, we can go and kind of have fun down there again, which I'm definitely looking forward to with our daughter, of course, which is a new layer of challenge in our life. I've kind of spoke a lot about the dad life on this podcast, and this is definitely a new chapter for us as we move into our own space. This is the first time that the three of us have lived in our own house together. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And actually, that kind of sort of segues us on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about in this. This is probably going to be quite short, or it might be quite long. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm just getting my thoughts out, and you are listening to them. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. The next thing that I wanted to talk about that's been happening or happened recently was I played a show. I played a show last Friday with the Jewelers. I had done a dep with the Jewelers. It was up in Cheltenham at Witchwood Festival. And I had a blast. I had a really, really good time. It was nice to be back behind the drums. This is definitely the longest period of time I've had away from the drums. I've done bits of travelling and maybe had a month off here or there, or a couple of months, but I'd always find a drum kit wherever we were, and this is definitely the longest period of time I've had away from it, and it's been a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It's it's been challenging for lots of reasons. I think the obvious one is I love playing the drums and I love performing, and that was such a huge part of my life for so long, and stopping that kind of on a hard stop was challenging, which I've also spoken about on this podcast before. So to go back out on the road, well, it was one day, not a proper road, I suppose, not a proper tour, but to go back out on the road and go and play a gig, especially at a festival, man. Like festivals are super fun. It's a bit of both. It's a double-edged sword. It's quite a high pressure environment because the turnovers are quick, but the vibe is always nice, and everyone's always, or usually, a little bit more relaxed at a festival in terms of the musicians on stage, because it's just that sort of vibe. You know you're going to have a good show. The sun was out. It was really nice, and Cheltenham's not too far, so I did feel a bit apprehensive about being that far from our daughter and from home. Being able to get home quite quickly is something that makes me feel a bit safe, and knowing that I can get to them if I need to. So being that distance away was a little bit challenging for sure. Actually, Riley, one of our teachers, came along with me to give me a little bit of help, and I'm grateful for that too. Having an extra pair of hands in that sort of tight time to turn around is really useful. And being back on stage, man, like playing music again after so long was really, really beautiful, and it felt good, and it definitely filled my cup. It's been an empty cup for the last year, so it was good to spend that time. And do you know what? It was funny. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. I thought I was gonna have a real big rush of adrenaline as it's been so long, and I did. Like I did sort of get that rush, obviously, but not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And I'm not sure whether that surprised me or not, or right, like I'm just sort of observing that, and it was. I wouldn't say it was easier than I expected. It was just sort of as easy as I kind of remembered it, which I was definitely surprised about, because I really thought it was going to be a struggle. I thought my technique was going to struggle. I thought my stamina was going to struggle. Like all my areas of all the areas of playing that you kind of rely on, in when you're on stage, and it wasn't too bad. I was definitely rusty. I'm not going to lie. There was definitely some moments where I was like, "Oh, hope nobody heard that or saw that." But generally, I felt quite good, and funnily enough, actually, I had a day of preparation in the week leading up to it. I was in the studio preparing, and I actually got way more nervous when I was preparing, which is so strange. Like I haven't really ever had that. Preparing for shows is something you just get so in the groove of, no pun intended, that you just get on with it and you learn the tunes and you go do the thing. But this time it felt very different prepping the tunes. I say prepping the tunes. I wrote half of them, and I was involved in the writing of half of them, and the other ones I've played for at least 4 years. So I kind of, it was more just refreshing rather than learning. But yeah, my point is that the adrenaline kind of came up then. That big rush of emotion, adrenaline happened then, which is maybe a good thing actually. Maybe that was some kind of safety mechanism. From my musician's brain was protecting me so that I got on with the show and did a good job, which I hope I did. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because as I've said, the journey that I've been on away from music, I've spoken about it before, but it's this crazy thing because obviously I've had my daughter and my wife and my daughter are here, and it's the most beautiful thing ever, and it's epic, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's challenging too, but it's all those things. Also, drumming and music is such a big part of my life, or it is still a big part of my life. I'm grappling with how much identity I attach to it. That's something that I've learned actually in this time away, that is something that I do, and it is something I'm involved in, and it's something I'm very passionate about, but it doesn't necessarily have to define who I am as a person. It brought up a lot of emotions because of those sort of reasons, and but I felt very present during the show. I was taking some big deep breaths and trying to stay present to the moment as much as possible, because it was like a 45-minute set as well, so it's like, bosh, it's over before you know it. And I was aware of that. Again, experiences, I knew that from experience, so I was able to slow myself down in the moment and do it, which was great. And also I should apologise actually if anyone wasn't planning to watch on Instagram as we had planned to stream it. It just didn't happen. There was too much going on, I'm not going to lie. There was too much going on. It was maybe a little bit of an afterthought, and I felt like I needed to just focus and play. But we have got some footage, so we're going to post that so you can check it out. And I think that's it. I wanted to just check in with you guys, say we're still here, we're still doing our thing. It's been a bit of a crazy period for us, and we're settling down into this new venture, this new part of the business, and as the studio grows. I also really need to mention that our beginners course is officially now live. It's out. If you head to beginnersdrumcourse.co.uk, you can find it there. Go and get it. Go and have a little look. It will teach you everything you need to know if you're a complete beginner, or in fact if you're someone who's started a while ago and you just want to refresh. It's perfect. It's there. 5 lessons, a bonus lesson, all the PDFs, support from me. Go and check it out. I'll link to it in the show notes for this, so you can go and see what's going on over at our beginners course. And now I'm going to go and chill. I'm going to go and watch some TV with my wife. My daughter's in bed. The sun is setting. It's a beautiful summer's evening, and I'm going to go and relax because we're constantly tired. Anyone who knows me knows that's all I seem to ever say at the moment. But yeah, time to go and relax. I'm really happy I made this time to connect with you guys. Feel free to reach out. If you have any questions or you want to chat about anything drum related, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can find all you need to know at alsdrumschool.co.uk, Instagram at alsdrumschool, Facebook alsdrumschool. You know what to do. Get in touch. Come and hang out, play some drums. I hope you'll have a wicked week, a wicked weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace.